Another beautiful day, another wonderful video, guys. Welcome back to Glam Look Connect's Air Studio, where we bring you the best, the trendiest, and the easiest styles to do as a hairstylist or an upcoming hairstylist, guys. Today we are doing boho knotless braids. Kama kawaida, we start by parting the hair. This is after making sure that you have the braids that you're going to use in place. So in this particular video, we are using curly braids and normal like straight braids. If you're in Kenya, obviously you know some of these brands. We have Darling, we have Angels, and for the curls, we are using Spanish bulk, guys. Spanish is curly, yes, but it's not human hair. In this style, you can choose to use human hair braid, or you can choose to use synthetic hair. The reason why most people use synthetic hair, it's because it's cheaper. It's not as costly as human hair, but synthetic is harder to maintain. Yes, it's harder to maintain, but you'll achieve almost the same results you'll achieve with human hair braid. Yes, so let's get into it. First, you want to part. The size you are doing is like medium size, not too small, not too big. At the back, we are going to do 2 rows, and the front, we're going to do like 5 rows. Yes, so with your parting, with this particular braid or any knotless braid style, you want to make sure that your braids are layered well so that they don't look too sparse. For the braids, I'd recommend you do the brick layer. You don't have to part from end to end. You can just part in the middle and start braiding from the middle, as you can see on the video, just to make sure that you are blocking well, so that if your client holds her hair up, there is no like a straight line like going all through. That is usually the point of doing the brick layer, so that as much as the braids are not too much on the head, also they don't look too sparse when they are held up, maybe in a bun, if your client is like looking forward to hold their hair up in a bun. To do this particular style, you might need 4 packs of the straight braid, the normal long abuja. That is what we used on this video from Darling Hair. You can still use any type of braid from any brand of your choice. There's so many of them. We have Lash, we have Angels, we have so many brands, but also you have to choose what works for you. You have to choose a braid that is going to give you like a good results by the end of the braiding process, guys. When it comes to adding the braid, usually I recommend you braiding down the client's hair before you start adding braids. And also the pieces that you add on that particular braid depends on the thickness of your client's hair, so that you can achieve a very uniform look throughout. And also, because this is bob braid, it's going to be done as bob, there is no need of braiding all the way. You'll just want to braid until you get to a length where your client like prefers, and then you can just tie the braid at that point, and you don't have to go all the way, just to save on time. To make this style even more interesting, we decided to add the curls at the end of the braids using flexi rods. Yes, we just use flexi rods and then dip them in hot water. And I think that was a good idea because they turned out so well. Guys, I love knotless braids. I love knotless braids because they are so seamless. Even when you hold your hair up, they usually look so good. They don't have the knot. I'm not saying the normal classic braids are not good, but with knotless braids, there's just a way that they look so nice, especially when they're held up. Another thing we have to note while doing this style is where and when to add the curl pattern. this will depend again with how your client prefers the curls done. There are clients who don't want like a lot of the curls. There are clients who want so many of them. So depending with what your client wants, just make sure you deliver as preferred by your client. So if she wants many of the curls than the braid, what you might want to do is maybe add 3 to 4 curls per braid, which will be a lot. Yes, guys. And if you're using this synthetic curl pattern, you might realize that they tangle more when there are a lot. So if you don't want them to tangle so much, you might have to put like kidogo curls. Yeah, and again, as a braider, if you know that, I think it's only right for you to advise your client accordingly. Because when a client comes to you and she says she wants many curls, but she also doesn't want them to tangle, it might be a little bit difficult. And because you're the one in a position to like advise, just tell them, let them know that the more the curls, the more work you'll have to do to maintain the braids. It's that easy, guys. But I usually prefer, if you're using synthetic hair, just make sure there are not as many, so that it's also easier. Nobody wants to go home and then after 2 or 3 days the braids are tangled and they cannot maintain. Also advise the client on which products they can use to just make their work easier throughout the time they'll be having those braids on. If you're still watching up to this point, kindly I'm asking you to subscribe to our channel. It's very encouraging to see when you guys are liking, are commenting, are sharing our work. It's very encouraging. So make sure you subscribe. Please don't go without subscribing. Yes, we've gotten to the exciting part, and this is where now we use the flexi rods to add the curls. Again, kuna njia mingi za weka curls. You can do the matuta ones, but I feel like the matuta ones are usually not as tight. So I love the curls that you get when you've used flexi rods instead. Yes, so just make sure you wrap the hair around the flexi rod as tightly as possible, because by the end of the day we want to get the tight curls. Yes, and also you've realized that we've tied the curls that we achieved using Spanish bulk up, because we don't want to put them in hot water. They're not very water friendly, and if put in hot water they might like be straight. So just make sure they're out of the way completely, and the only part that is dipped in hot water is the ends where you've like used the flexi rods, and your water has to be hot. And this is the part also where you want to be very careful, because you don't want to burn yourself or burn your client's head. You have to be very steady, be very careful, so that the water does not spill on your clients or on yourself. Use a towel to just make sure you dry the hair before you let it down, so that it's not dripping on your client. Yes, guys, so up to this point I hope you get like what is going on. And then after you've dipped them in hot water, the next thing obviously is just to remove the flexi rod very carefully and very gently, so that you don't straighten the curls again. You understand? Yes, and look at those girls, the way they're looking so nice. Like they look so beautiful. And then we had to cut the curls into a bob length, because that is the length that we are going for. At this point I felt kind of bad, because the curls looked so good when they are long, but we had to cut them. By the end of the day, we stick to a style. After cutting them to that length, just let down the curls, all of them, and then cut just right under the curls that you achieved using flexi rod. I don't know if that makes sense. Like the initial curls should cover the curls you used flexi rods to achieve. Guys, this style is fire. You have to try it. Other than that, thank you so much for following and watching up to this point. You are you are just an amazing person if you got to this point. Don't forget to subscribe. Also follow us on Instagram, Glam Look Connect Hair Studio, TikTok, Glam Look Connect Hair Studio, and there it is, guys. Beautiful, clean looking, wonderful. Thank you so much. I will see you on the next video, and also comment down below to tell us if you'd like to try this style. Bye.